All right, we are live. What is happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the channel tonight. We have an exciting, thrilling debate session coming up between myself and Mr. Everyday Fleet Tech right here. If you guys haven't checked him out, he has a pretty awesome channel here on YouTube. He does a lot of cool stuff, more on the fleet maintenance side of things, tools. He's extra salty every once in a while, but you know what? We're not going to hold that against him either. It's going to make it all for the better, right? He's got his Matco ratchet there that he's extra salty about on top of everything.
I'm not salty at all.
No, it's a Dr. Salty.
I had to.
Salty.
I had to.
Yeah, I see it.
I appreciate you having me on, but yeah, this is straight out the chute. I'm going to put out there. I do have electric tools, so it's not like I'm anti-electric.
And I do have air tools. I definitely still do use them. We understand that there are certain applications that just really have to be put one way or the other.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in the middle that everybody has to choose one or the other. What's your favorite? What's it going to be, you know?
It's choose your flavor, but also you are very much of the, you believe.
I think he froze in a very awkward position. Must be one of those southern internet things. I don't know. Everybody else, did mine freeze? No? Maybe? Hathead Auto is in here. Oh, no, he definitely froze. Okay, just making sure. Hathead Auto, he ended up winning one of our giveaways on the last live streams that we did. Glad you enjoyed the beef jerky there. So whenever
the battery operated electric, whatever you want to call it, has.
Hey, there he is. Are you there? And he froze again. Reset the router. Hold on. We're going to take this one away and add this one in because he's going to try again. Maybe.
Okay, that's really weird.
There he is.
That's extremely weird.
Hey, we're back.
Okay, everything cool?
I'm cool. I'm hearing you now.
Okay, that's really weird because, I mean, I'm plugged direct in and there should be no issue.
Like I said, one of those southern Wi-Fi things, you know.
I knew I should have not bought internet from Costco or something.
I mean, that's a legit issue, you know? Yeah.
No, that was just really weird. It just randomly is like complete graphed out and then it's back.
Occupants got it right. He said the big electric companies tried to shut him down.
They know I'm right. It's the man coming after me. I'm telling you, so it is.
So if you guys aren't sure what we are tuned in tonight for, is we're going to have a little debate on the use of electric tools versus air tools. I know it's in the description there, but we are going to be talking our sides to this. Primarily, I'm going to be talking the point over the electric tools, and Chad over here is going to be speaking the point over the importance of the air tools, and we're going to get some pluses and minuses on either side and point each other out where we may or may not be wrong in those areas. So let's get a little background first. Chad, Mr. Everyday Fleet Tech, how long you been in the business? What do you do?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, just
the one thing who I am. Take notes for.
I grew up and was indoctrinated into the heavy duty business from childhood. I was at work at the Southeastern's largest machine shop from, God, I don't know how long. Every summer I had to work there. My freshman year of high school, I realized this really sucks. I dropped out, got my GED, and been to work full-time ever since. Went from machinist over to the truck shop. From there, I went to moved away with my now wife while she was going to college, but I went on and become a tech at Ford. It's Ford take it back. The building next to it was Lincoln, Mercury, and Mazda. I got certified in Lincoln, Mercury, and Mazda. Then I went over to Ford, and I become the heavy-duty power stroke tech there. From there, I now work up at the world's busiest airport with a very large fleet, doing off-road and semi-truck, stuff like that. But from time to time, medium-duty stuff as well.
Sweet. So he's been there a while. You're not a freshman. We're going to put it that way.
About 20 years.
20 years. Heck yeah. You even got a couple more years on me. I mean, it shows up top. I mean, there is some still up here.
Don't worry, it'll fade.
It'll get there. I mean, it's starting. It's starting there.
Shut up when you're starting.
So I have been in the automotive business for going on 12 years professionally now. 2 more years in training prior to that. So I have been pretty much dead straight right on the same path. I have worked for a dealership, not always the same one, but Chrysler for all of my career. I worked on a little bit of stuff here and there prior to, but nothing that was worth a damn or worth even knowing that I even worked with tools. So I have been a dealership mechanic for a better part of 12 years, and I have been a shop foreman for going on 2.5 years now. So in my personal circumstances, I'm going to be arguing for the side of the electric tools because I personally think they have come forward in their technology in the market massively. Now, when they first came out, we can both argue on the side that they were way overpriced. They were way underpowered. They were just clunky, huge, bulky. They didn't get the job done. And they were not filling the job that they were designed to fill, correct?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the first decent battery-operated tool that was made for our industry that I remember buying was a Snap-on. What was the one that they have that looks a lot like the screw guns that Snap-on has now? It's the 9, was it a 4-volt?
They had the 7.2 volt ones, and they also had the 18-volt drill drivers.
Maybe it's the 7-volt one that I'm thinking of, but I mean, it had the push in. It looked a lot like the head of a 14.4.
Had a triangle-shaped battery.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the first one I bought off the tool truck, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh, I wrecked so many of those.
Now, when I first bought that one, I bought the screw gun, and that's how they got people hooked because everyone was like,
yeah.
Holy crap, I've got a screw gun that isn't, the size of these everyday home ones like these Ryobis that take a massive battery and everything. They were tiny. They were compact. They were great. They sold awesome in the market. And then Snap-on's like, let's go ahead and throw through, some more stuff to go with this. And they came out with the 3/8 impact of that.
Yep.
And people was like, oh my gosh, they've got a subcompact 3/8 impact. It wouldn't take a 13 millimeter bolt that held on a freaking coolant reservoir to save.
I bought the 1/2-inch one of that. What was it? The 18 volt or whatever the heck it was. Yeah. It actually got stole while I was still at Ford. Well, funny enough, somebody had insider information. There was a Crown Vic that was left up on the alignment rack. Someone broke in the middle of the night, got it off the rack, and drove the car out, and nobody knew anything about it. Total inside job. Yeah, my tools were still inside. That's the only thing that I cared about.
And even stepping in is going to be Mr. Shaka Gillis to remind me Ryobi is trash, but I got plenty of Ryobi stuff here to go in the background for you tonight, buddy. I've got
a Ryobi power washer.
There we go. I've got a wall of Ryobi over here. Trimmer, pull back.
There?
DeWalt. This is actually a pool speaker that one of the subscribers said, hey, you use Ryobi. So this is a pool speaker and light show thing for our swimming pool. Kids love it.
That's kind of slick. I'm not even mad about that.
Exactly, right? It is not freaking awesome.
That's kind of slick.
The only thing I was kind of pissed off is I bought 2 of them, and you can't hook up more than one at the same time.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Right, it would be go figure.
Yep, figures on that one. They made every single one of them had the exact same Bluetooth IP signal or whatever to them, so you can't connect more than one.
Uh, that would
But
drive me
having
insane.
one is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So how about going to the other side of things? So that was our first electric experience. How about your first air experience? I know my first air tool that I bought going into the shop was probably my 3/8 air, and I bought a Blue Point kind because I couldn't afford the Snap-on one, of course, at first, and I got a massive discount through the student program. So I love that one, and that's the one I kind of grew into starting and using. Had the flapper handle instead of the push button, and that's what I was indoctrinated into using was the flapper, which most techs absolutely hate, and I could see why on that one.
I love
but
the flapper.
that's what I loved for years too. It was amazing. But I would have to say that over the first like 4 years of using that tool, I had to have that thing rebuilt 3 times. But again, you can throw in there that it was the Blue Point version. I was a newer technician and probably doing dumber stuff to it than I probably should have. Also, chalk up new technician to not maintaining it as I probably should have. Proper lubrication and use. But that's going to be more on my argument of why you're using electric things, because they don't require all that use and maintenance and everything with them. You don't have to worry about lubricating them. You don't have to worry about taking, the flapper apart and make sure you have that all nice and lubricated as well.
Oh, I've got a debate on that one, but
let's hear it.
Okay, first of all, what was my indoctrination into it? Started out with it was the shops. Ingersoll ran 3/4 drive. I like most people. I was the tire bitch for a long time. Sling tires on semi trucks, work with that. Then the shops, 1/2-inch drives when I'm tearing down like Cummins, or not Cummins, idiot. Detroit 60 series, Cummins 855, stuff like that. But as far as when I started buying my own tools as a tech, that was one of the first I ever bought with my own money. I wish I knew the date stamps on these things. Let's just say old. Okay, that Snap-on no longer makes these. I bought this new off the truck. That starts to make you feel really sad.
Oh, my mentor had one of those that I use all the time. I didn't buy one, but he had one.
I love this thing. But yeah, the funny thing enough, after we had our little conversation the other day, I felt nostalgic. I put away all battery tools. I broke out everything I used to have all day long. There was no ratcheting wrench. It was all regular wrenches, air tools, and 36 tooth ratchets.
And it took you 3 times longer.
Not 1 second longer.
No, you don't think so?
I know so. Not 1 second longer. That's one thing. These might not have the torque to bust stuff off as the newer stuff. They've still got killer RPM.
Oh yeah, they do have that, especially when we're talking that little 1/4-inch line of things.
That's a killer that puts air over electric. Look at the actual RPM. They're gonna scream, man.
I agree with that one. I really do. However, like my argument, I did a review video on the differences between the standard Snap-on electric and the new Brute version of it. In when I started working as a mechanic, they want to teach you how to use hand tools all correctly at first. They don't even want you to touch air tools, no touching electric tools. So they start you with a lot of the hand tools. So you get the use into having those and using those. And then when they put you into, okay, you can use power tools now, you're like, wow, this is, a whole different century. I can do stuff like 8 times faster. It's amazing. But how much faster already is this compared to that hand ratchet? And is that speed of RPM that much more necessary as compared to torque and the usability of having this thing with no arrows attached to it? My
Understand that.
personal opinion, I don't think so. I think that having the slightly less RPM is not going to cause me to get jobs done more than a minute slower in most
Mhm.
circumstances, because that, and I'm also not using this thing for 370 screws at the exact same time. You might be
Yeah.
only using it for 2 or 3 at the same time, but that's general to the kind of job that you have also.
And that's what it all boils down to. It's what are you doing with these? I had some guys chime in, when I made my point, we're batting back and forth. Well, I'm in the field. Well, nobody's talking to you. You were the minority, okay? That's like when you wear a flex fit hat, Somebody's gonna show up with a pumpkin head. It doesn't fit mine. This is one fit all. Well, it wasn't for you. You're
I
weird.
usually have
You
to
know
say that,
this.
actually. I have to buy big ones.
I'm I'm extra tiny, so whatever. But but you know what I'm saying? It's know
Yeah.
your market. For what I do and what you do, it's very similar market. And for what we do, it's a matter of, I think, bang for buck, air still outperforms electric. And I'm looking at all the data.
I would say in certain tools still. Now, when we're talking about these electric ratchets for circumstance on the first one of these, I would say that yes, performance wise, for how much these cost compared to how much your 1/4 inch air ratchet costs, yeah,
Mhm.
there's a huge difference in cost. These, even for this standard one right here with
Yep.
no battery, $249.
Let's see
$250 for
here.
that.
For
So
a
you get one
Snap-on
battery.
14.4 1/4 inch drive ratchet, it puts out 35 foot-pounds, one battery, one charger, and the tool. It is $466.95.
Yeah, you get the one battery and the charger. You get those single tool, only no battery, no charger. It's $250.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And whereas
way
uh,
more.
a lot of the compare and contrast that I'm doing here, I
Mm-hmm.
pick the top brands that people go after. Okay. So
Yeah.
those you out there, before I say something, you say, well, this one Gucci place in Germany that has a guy in his uncle's shed makes one better. This is the top we
And for
use.
half
Okay.
the price.
Yeah. But the Ingersoll Rand 1/4 inch air ratchet puts out 25 foot-pounds, so 10 foot-pounds less than your electric one. Electric beat it on this one, but it costs $104.
Yeah,
$104.59.
a third of the price.
Yeah, so this is going to be an entry into one of my biggest arguments. People are just getting into it. You've seen it as well as I do, I guarantee it. New guy, Lube Tech comes on. He gets on the Snap-on truck first saying, not only did they try talking him into buying a Master Series box, but they also talk him into all these electric tools that they don't need, because the turnover rate for new techs, lube techs, whatever you want to call them, is extraordinarily high. So if somebody is not sure if they're really going to stick with this, why instantly toss them into a $400-something ratchet when you could say this $100-something ratchet will do every single thing this other one will do for a 1/4 of the price?
I totally exactly get into that, understand and get that one. And I actually have my 2 students that work underneath of me when I go to recommend them for tools and everything, because they get to see and use a lot of the same tools that are in my toolbox and everything all day
Mm-hmm.
long. So they're seeing and using a lot of these things. But I'm like, all right, so here in your first year, you're going to be getting some of the stuff that you are going to be using of your stuff. Now you have to get a totally different mindset of this, because all of this massive wall of Snap-on and these 37 electric tools that I have, you can't
Yeah.
own. It doesn't happen in the first couple of years. It just doesn't happen.
Oh,
You can't do it. Not at all. You have to prioritize what you have and what you need and what can get the job done for what you have the money to do.
Exactly. And see, for me, that's where my mentality of electric tools comes in. They're a Gucci item. They're a luxury. Do you need it? No, not whatsoever. Does it always do something better than its air counterpart? No. It's one of those, the one and only thing it does that air tools don't do, it gets rid of the air hose. That's it.
Every time. Yeah, that's the only one thing for sure. The mobility factor of it is a large factor. And like I said, you can talk till you're blue in the face on, I'm a mobile technician or I have to work out on a lot. I get that one. I understand that one. But we're talking about the choice of use inside of a shop where we have our vehicles, we have our toolbox. It's all right there. Now, another thing that I'm going to have to say that kind of pushed me away from the air stuff too is my OCD nature of not having clutter. I absolutely hate having that air hose around, having to clean the air hose, having to get it out of the way, having to be wary that it might be knocking something over close to the wall or getting onto a customer's hood and maybe putting micro scratches into it. There's a lot of little things that you have to be wary about, and that's one of the other things that I have to teach and show the younger techs when they get into it, because obviously the ones they can afford are air tools.
Yeah,
you have to be wary of this air hose all the time. When I was a younger tech, and I think 2 years into my career, I actually tripped on an air hose, slipped, fell, tore my meniscus in my knee, and was out for 3 months.
Ooh.
After that point, I had a severe hate for the air hose.
That one's understandable. As far as what I'm going through, I understand if you're the OCD nature, but most people didn't have a traumatizing experience like you. We can overlook these things. End of the day, it become such repetition that, funny enough, like I say, when I was using the air tools all day at work the other day, I found that I got back in the same old habits, the same routines that I used to have. When I got done at the end of the day, I always spray some brake clean on a rag, wipe my tools off, put them away. In that same rag, I spray it down. I give the air reel a quick pull, put my, rag with brake clean on it, and let it reel itself back through my hands, and it wipes everything off. I did it subconsciously. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. It's just out of habit from God forever of indoctrination. So it's one of those, if you use them daily, it's a non-issue. It's not a thing at all.
I agree with that one. It is a repetition of that. And that's why I also say it's harder for me when I'm trying to teach younger technicians that, hey, you've had this electric tool around with you. Now you have to be wary of having that air hose around. You got to watch where you can't drag it across the corner of this car. You can't drag it around this one and get it caught. You got something you're taking suspension parts off of. You got to make sure your air hose isn't underneath the car when the part hits the ground. Obviously, you hear that bang. Oh,
we all have.
You're like, crap. Run over to the
grab
wall.
Grab the vice grips, clip it.
Yep, all the same.
I get that. But moving on to another little point that I have about how air is better than electric, durability. The other day when I was using it, I messed up, hand slipped. I was covered in trans fluid. I dropped my 1/4 inch, this one, in a pan filled with transmission fluid. I almost freaked out and went to dive after it like I would thinking about 14.4. And I thought, I was like, meh, it's cleaning itself. It's good. I left it there a solid hour. Didn't care. It's lubing the thing for me. I pulled it out. I wiped it off, held it away from my face, hit it with the air. It blew everything out, and it's never ran better in years. It's happy.
That I agree with. Now, I will have one circumstance that I would like to at least get the kahunas to try this test again, is I dropped an electric ratchet into a bucket of trans fluid. Dropped it in there. I wasn't in there more than like 4 or 5 seconds. Obviously, I wasn't going to leave it in there for 4 hours. Pulled it right out, pulled the battery off instantly.
Yep.
Had it off. Then I pretty much took the tool and I sprayed that tool down with brake fluid for like, I went through like 3 cans of brake fluid on it. Let it sit out overnight. Second day, went back through, sprayed it out again with brake fluid. Let it sit out the rest of that day. Put another battery on it, plugged it in, and the thing worked.
Yes, I've done the same thing with my old 14.4.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it's one of those, as soon as it hit, you had a mini heart attack. You dove. Whereas, like say with this one, I'm just kind of like, meh. It's Marvel Mystery-All. It's good. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that one. Now, durability for your impacts, though, I would have to say that your electric impacts, they have just as much, if not more, durability than the air tool impacts. The front nose cones on the 725s and the PT850s, I'm sure you've seen the horror stories about the guys dropping them on the ground and the thing cracks around because they're magnesium housings. They crack really, really easy.
Well, that's why I use Ingersoll Rand.
I've dropped that thing off of a lift from 7 feet in the air. I don't know how many times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My Ingersoll, I've dropped it. I've skid it. And here's the thing. Ever since I had that half-inch drive snap-on stolen when I worked at Ford way back in the day, I've never bought another one. I won't. I firmly believe that air is more reliable for half-inch and up. I will not buy battery. Not going to happen.
I run into deals all the time on these battery stuff between, getting the chance to actually do reviews and stuff for them. Plus, I went on a test drive and I had one of my technician finds of the century. Went out on a test drive and they were repairing a railroad track right down the street from the dealership I work at. They just opened the road back up an hour later. Took a car down for a test drive. I'm like, oh, sweet, the road's open. Went down that way. As soon as I go over the railroad tracks, I look over and I see something in the road. I'm like, oh, hit the brakes, pull a U-turn right in the middle of the road. Sitting off the side of the road is a 7/16 hex drive Milwaukee 1,300 foot-pound impact. Sitting on the road with a battery in it. Zip, zip. I'm like, oh, somebody's pissed off right now.
No kidding. Yep. Nope. I won't do it because that's one thing that Snap-on, Milwaukee, and all of them, they don't talk about that. One, I don't know about you. Me personally, all the years I dealt with stuff, the sales pitch that I heard for air tools was never nut-busting torque.
Yeah,
what's the actual torque?
That's bull crap numbers, and I say that one till the cows.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing too. Whenever the battery companies put out information, it's for the best case scenario. The day you get it out the box and put a fully charged brand new battery in it, it's possible to do this number. Other than that, those numbers go down.
By the way, you ever test your voltage and amperage output of your batteries?
No.
Check your voltage output on the batteries on why some of them are higher output. For instance, I don't have my meter here with me. I took it with me on a trip. But this 4 or 5 amp hour battery from SP rated at 18 volts. Puts out 21 volts. Is that an advertising thing, or is that I gotcha and our tools work better and that's why?
Yep. I mean, it could be.
The Milwaukee ones, they're rated at 18. They put out 19 3/4.
Yeah. And see, that just blows me away. Like I said, and even if you read on the Milwaukee website, it says, people talk about their high torque nut busting. It's 1,800 nut busting torque. But after that, it's 750.
Yeah, exactly, because they use the electric motor coefficient and have that at the initial startup of it. But yeah.
I mean, like I say, I'm sitting here looking at it like the 3/4 inch impact from Milwaukee, 1,200 nut busting torque. Then it quickly drops down to 750.
Now, I also did
I
notice
mean,
that when some of the bigger air tools of the most recent coming out, the bigger one from Matco, the PT850 from Snap-on, their numbers also advertised were pretty darn up there, like high,
mhm.
like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque out of that PT850. Really? So I did a little more digging into that one. That one was the 3/8. Which one's the larger inlet diameter of air hose? The biggest diameter air hose that you could get for that gun,
Yeah.
running 160 pounds of shop air
Mhm.
and running it um, after like 3 hours of use, which is all warmed the gun up and
Oh yeah.
everything. So
Yep.
how they get those numbers is not how normally every day would use it. Now, in your
Exactly.
shop with the air tools, what kind of fittings and lines are you running? Because I know that's a major thing that you have to watch out for with your air tools that you don't have to worry about with the electric ones. But yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm rocking. And for the larger stuff, that's when we start getting into the larger air hoses, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at work, of course, we have a massive, I can't tell you how many gallon Ingersoll Rand compressor, and it
Right.
fills the whole shop and all the oil tanks and everything in between.
What kind of a motor
But
is it running on it?
have no idea. Shop
Loud,
building maintenance takes care of
annoying,
it. What's that?
loud and annoying. Is it in your shop area?
It's in our oil room. I never hear it.
Oh, okay. So it's not in your shop, like you're not working right next to it.
No,
The air
no.
compressor. No. So in our shop, another reason that air is absolutely hated is our two of them air compressors sit in the shop in the corner
Oof.
right by where everybody works. They're not a scroll compressor, any kind of really quiet one. No, they're very, very, very loud, and they run all the time. Especially when somebody's using air tools for an extended amount of time, it puts so much noise into the shop. In fact, that's another like pet peeve of mine because a lot of the times, if I was to take all of the outtakes from all of my videos that I've made in that shop, it's always because that damn air compressor turns on right at the
Yep.
most inopportune time.
Yep. But I understand that. Well, one, your shop needs to step up its game and move those compressors out of shop. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah,
But a lot of the
that's an
times the
old
shops
thing.
don't have that as an option. Most older
Yeah.
shops, they have them in the main shop.
Yeah. The shops I worked at was pretty old, but I'll take your word on it.
Mm.
As far as noise, that's one thing I am wanting to do. I'm wanting just to use a simple decibel meter, just an app. I don't care. I'm going to look for it later. But I'm going to run my Snap-on 18 volt 3/8 impact and compare it to my Ingersoll Rand 3/8 impact. I'm going to bet decibels not that far off
Mm, I mean,
of them
I bet
actually
you
hitting.
get fairly close, but I bet the air is still louder. But I bet in some circumstances you are coming pretty close on that still.
Yeah.
I bet you're pretty right on that.
And so,
Especially if you still run the muffler in your air gun,
all of them have my muffler.
which most guys also, in at least in our shop, yeah, they don't run mufflers. Mufflers are for pussies.
Yeah. I get my tool from Snap-on. I say, thank you, sir. Oil it, put air on it, and go. I'm not taking it apart. I'm not taking anything out of it. It's the way it was built. It's fine. Leave it alone.
And I totally agree with that one. I definitely think that that's the way you should do it. But they think, oh no, that makes more airflow, right? Not having a
No,
muffler on it. No, that's after
that's
it's used in the tool. That's the air coming out after it's done and used. I don't get their thinking on that one either.
no, I get it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the big thing
What
for
about
me is
impact? What about
what's that?
let's bring up impacts now.
Okay.
Talking more about those, where the impact market is at today, not 5 years ago when these things weighed 9.5, 10 pounds, and they could only
Oh
do
yeah.
300 foot-pounds of torque.
Well, I went and pulled up the numbers for Milwaukee for the M18 fuel line for the 3H drive impacts. I think it's fair to say that's what a lot of the market is going for.
Yep.
All right, so that's putting out 210 foot-pounds of torque, and for the tool, a charger, and a battery, $332.17. And this just
that's the M18 3/8.
Correct. This is just
Okay.
what I found on Amazon, and the numbers come direct from Milwaukee's website.
For that specific tool, yes, but I don't think that that would be the best representation of what to use for that. If we're doing the comparison on this one, I would rather see your 3/8 stubby M12 line that costs $90 less, has 250 foot-pounds of output, and also only weighs 5 pounds.
Gotcha. I was going off of what I've seen other people using, stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
It's one of those, in a sense of fairness. But I instantly went and I compared it to Ingersoll Rand. 300 foot-pounds of torque for $177.
Okay.
So it's one of those, again, really high torque, really low cost, and super high durability.
They are, because that with that Ingersoll Rand specifically, and the MG 325 is the Snap-on one. I think the 3/8 version, the one that everybody absolutely hounds over. That's the one they love the most. But they see a lot of those. So a lot of the times I see the comparison on that one to like your M12 line, because Milwaukee right now is just blowing things out of the water in the electric market. It's hard to keep up with them on anything. So right now their stubby lineup is freaking amazing. And like I said, this 3/8 stubby weighs like 4 3/4, 5 pounds, something like that. It comes in at 250 foot-pounds, which is 50 foot-pounds less than the Ingersoll Rand one. And that one with the battery and the charger, they were running on sale for $199. Like you said, that was an on sale time. Most of the time it's $249.
Sure.
So
exactly.
That's pretty darn close in the comparison world.
Yeah, but also again, durability.
I've never broken mine. I also see a lot of people online saying, yes, this is, crap. I've had to have mine rebuilt. Under my circumstances, I've never had a Milwaukee tool that needed a rebuild or broke.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I recently had to have my 14.4 3/8 drive ratchet sent in to be rebuilt, because I've noticed that it's just getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and it wasn't able to take anything off, really. I mean, it's like the insides were just dying slowly. Whereas I still have one of my very first 3/8 air ratchet at work, and it's just ticking on along, happy as can be. It don't care.
Now
I can drop it I can do whatever.
Somebody asked on here what I was holding up. It was, yes, this is a SV Tools mid-torque impact. That's the one that I did a couple of reviews on, and this is my favorite electric tool that I own because it weighs 4.5 pounds, mid-torque impact, peak at like, what they say it was like, they rate all their crap in Newton meters because it comes from Australia, so 970 Newton meters. So what is that, like 700 foot-pounds, 670, something like that?
It's one of those, when you start talking Newton meters, I'm like, go back to SpongeBob, you got to hold your pinky high because you're fancy.
Newton meters? Isn't that what we were saying?
Pip, pip. Newton.
Yeah, exactly.
When I'm at work and I'm working on something that's telling me torque something to Newton meters, I'm like, oh, God, math. I've got a crap.
Now, have you ever had to or sent any of your electric tools from Milwaukee in to be repaired?
I own 0 Milwaukee tools. None.
So
never
had to
one.
Have them repaired. And I want to send one in to get repaired, not under warranty. Because I know their warranty is like the best on the market. They've got a 5-year warranty on their tools. They've got a 3-year warranty on a lot of their batteries, 2 or 3 years, depending on which one. But I want to know how much it costs for the repair on these tools and the turnaround time if you're not under warranty and what it's going to cost. Because I know I've as well. You sent your Snap-on ratchet in, the electric one in for repair, right?
Correct.
And that one, they've come up because snap rate's gone just to flat rate repair.
Yep.
So $110, no matter what's wrong with it, even if you only send them in the head of a tool, guess what you get back? This right here.
With the upgraded guts.
That's right, with the upgraded internals. How about that?
I'm waiting to see, but my dealer is saying mine should come back as the Brute.
Really? See,
That's what he told me.
I will be super interested to see that one because that's not just the upgraded guts, because those have a totally different gear housing on the end of it.
Okay, I don't know. I'm going off of what he said.
Okay.
He could be like most Snap-on dealers and be full of crap. I think
that would be awesome. Like I said, I found a head. This is all I sent in, like that much right there, and this is what I got back.
Nice
for $110. So,
but the cool thing is, I'm not paying a dime of it.
And as long as it was
warranty, nope. My job paid.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now that's super nice. Not a lot of the guys have available to them.
Nope.
But that was another point that I was
kind of not have electric tools.
That's another point of the things that I was kind of getting to was prior to recently, it was a lot cheaper also to refurbish or rebuild air tools. Yes. You sent those in, they just you could about do it yourself. You take it apart and put a couple of veins in it, a couple of seals in it, and it's good to go. That's all you have to do.
Here's the thing. Here's what we used to do back in the day. Whenever somebody's shop air tool died, we threw it in a corner somewhere, and that would become the communal donor. And so, say you threw an air ratchet over there a year ago, a vein in mine bust. Well, I just walk over there, cannibalize a vein out of it, shove it in mine, throw some oil in it. I'm good to go. It's not hurting anything.
Yep. If you have the parts around, definitely they're super easy to rebuild. Anybody could do that one. I want to tag in here. AgTech45 said he had a 1/2-inch Milwaukee impact he sent to get fixed, and it cost him $65.
Nice.
I'd say that's pretty darn good, especially since Snap-on flat rate fee is 110. I think that's what it was, $110.
Yep.
So $110, but that's where I was getting to right now is the air tools. They were super cheap to fix and rebuild and everything. Yes, you still could get the parts and do them yourself. However, a lot of the times the technicians now, right with you guys, or at least my mentor did at least, when you own the air tools, how many of those ratchets did you own? 2 of them. When the one went out or you needed vanes to put in that one, I can't go down with that. So they had another $120 air tool, right?
Yep. Sometimes that happened.
Yep.
Usually once one of them died, just went and bought a new one.
Yep. Or just bought a new one. But now when you're getting the things rebuilt, the one thing that I like right now is that they have narrowed that gap on what it costs and what it takes for them to be rebuilt, and that they pretty much cost the same. I want to say the air tools through Snap-on is like $100, and an electric ratchet is 110. So it's like $10 more to have this rebuilt than an air one.
Yeah, but let's also start looking at it from a different practical aspect. By the time you kill an air ratchet, and I'm choosing air ratchet for example, because it's what I mostly use forever. Yes, sometimes one bust, we throw this one in drawer for parts and buy a new one at, let's call it $200, on the high end. $200. Well, how long do you think these things last? A really, really long time. And so,
correctly.
Yeah, I mean, they last a really long time. So, let's say the same situation for electric tools. You're using an electric tool and it dies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of the time, people are going to sit back and go, if it lasted them a really long time, oh man, it's an outdated thing. They no longer support this. Oh, they've got 3 more generations, it now has, 50 foot-pounds of nut-busting torque. And I don't know what nut-busting means. I need that. Well, now they're diving in for another $400. My battery's not supported anymore. My charger's not supported anymore. Oh, well, now they have this thing.
I get that.
Instead of spending $100-something for a ratchet where since the beginning, we've all had the same couplings, worst case scenario, get a 9/16 and put in whatever new coupling. But an air tool is an air tool is an air tool is an air tool. You got volume backing it, it'll work. There is no updated, there's no new support.
I do agree with that one. Now, that would also be a deal breaker for me in the electric market of things. Like, for instance, if Milwaukee was to all of a sudden say, oh, we're going to upgrade our battery line, which we haven't done in 17 years, by the way. If they decided to upgrade a battery line, or Ryobi, that I don't think has ever had a different battery than what this is, pretty much. If they decided to change their battery lines, I'm pretty sure I would throw that brand in the trash.
Yep. And they will.
I think I would do that because of how much batteries cost right now.
Yep.
Outrageous. They're stupid.
And see, technology dictates that if they're going to continue this ridiculous torque and power war, that they're going to have to. You can only get so much out of it. How many times has Snap-on changed batteries?
A lot.
Many.
Yep, they went from the 18 to 7.2, the 14.4. Hopefully they stick with 14.4 forever, but,
It's going to have to go away sooner or later. Technology dictates it must change.
However, they don't have to change the reciprocating area of it. Yes, Snap-on, they did change to this newer battery, actually. If you guys didn't know, the 14.4 batteries, you either have a 2 amp hour or a 2.5 amp hour. The 2 amp hour ones, the words go horizontal side to side, and on the 2.5, they're this way. So, you guys didn't know that one. They do have the 2.5, and they work a lot better with these tools, especially in the older tools. If you put a 2.5 amp hour battery on one of your old 3/8 ratchets, oh, it wakes it up massively.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
When I get my ratchet back, I might have to grab one because, like the 14.4 ratchets, you know how they went from it was a chrome head, then they went to the black head. I bought mine when they first went to the.
I traded in a chrome head one.
Yeah. I bought my 14.4 right after they left the chrome head. And so all my batteries are still those same batteries.
They're still the 2 amp hour ones. Yeah, grab one of the 2.5s and put it in your early version of the ratchet. I bet you will be very, very surprised at that one.
Now, have they changed anything for the 18 volt?
So yes, they have. When the newest 9075 Impact came out, the one that costs $1,000 freaking dollars, but again, not a lot of people have tried the difference between the old tools with the new batteries because it's hard to get the new batteries. They're wanting way too much money for them, and they were kind of pushing back on selling them unless you bought the actual tool with it. So that's why I haven't tried it, and not a lot of other people have tried the newer batteries and the older stuff yet. Yeah, but that would be a good one to try.
$1,000 freaking dollars.
980, yeah.
And that's 3/4 drive, correct?
No, that's 1/2 inch.
A 1/2 inch?
That was 1/2 inch.
Huh.
Yep.
Ingersoll ran all day, every day. Nope.
Mm-hmm. That's another good part. Kevin Avery reminded me the lock clips on these 14.4 batteries are serviceable, whereas other ones like the Milwaukee M12 ones are just plastic, bendable plastic that break all the time. Absolutely hate it when you're impacting on something and all of a sudden it hits and it stops because the battery came out.
Yeah, I love serviceable locking ends. I mean, see, I have steel with a brass coupler that loops onto this with ball bearings that twist around and
that also wear out. So when you hit it, the airline pops off the end every once in a while.
Then you take a little 9/16 go.
bring it off, and put a new one on.
Ta-da!
Yep. Now with the 14.4s, same thing. A little tap, tap, tap-a-roo to one of these clips and get a new clip.
Oh, you carry those clips in your toolbox?
I do. I have one.
Oh, do
Yeah, I have one of them.
I you're that weird guy, right?
I'm just a prepared kind. I have one of those, and I also have a 1/2-inch Jesus clips, for the ends of your impacts. And
I keep those as well. Here's the thing. You are probably like I am. For lack of better words, we are tool whores.
Prepared. I will say prepared.
Sure, that sounds good.
Heavily prepared.
Oh, you think you're heavily? You should meet a coworker of mine. I have a coworker. I'm just kind of like, are you selling dope on the side? Where do you get this money from? It's sickening. But yeah, he and I, both our toolboxes, we're the ones that people go to. I had a guy from another company the other day come to me and ask me if I had a Jesus ring in my toolbox. Third drawer down, right-hand side, I've got from 1/4 inch up to 3/4 inch. Whatever you need, my guy. O-rings in there as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't carry 1/4 inch ones because I don't have anything 1/4 inch that has that. I don't have any 1/4 inch impacts. I use all the hex adapter for the ends of them.
Yeah. Well, at work, I still have some of my very old 1/4 inch air guns.
What? You still use those? Is that one of those nostalgic kind of days?
I still use it now and then. Every now and then I'll bust it out. Bop, bop, bop,
bop. So loud. Those things were so loud.
That one is loud. It was the Chicago pneumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what about?
I still have the good fancy little 1/4 inch air hose that's permanently on it, so it has the little dangle off the back of it with a little swivel ball.
End. Yep.
Yeah, you remember those? I used mine.
Yeah.
They work.
There's obviously going to be some tools that are not going to be able to keep up with, like, these are obviously way better in electric and these are way better in air. There's some things that still electric can't do, like an air hammer. At least
air
not
hammer?
yet.
Yes.
Now I heard at the grapevine that we might be seeing an electric version of an impact driver hammer.
I want one. I want one to prove a point. I
want to see it horribly. And it's going to be horrible. The first rendition of it, I guarantee it's going to be horrible. I'm
that guy. People are asking me all the time, are you building a house over here? What are you doing? When I get out the air hammer, put your earplugs in for the day, because at least half that day, I'm going to be screaming at it. Stuck kingpins, stuff like that. I mean, yeah. You know, it's going to be a day when you see me wheeling out this settling torch and air hammer.
I prefer really not getting out the air hammer. And I actually don't even have a nice one. I have a little Blue Point one, which is about as good as a Craftsman one that you get. I don't like using it. I don't use it very often at all. I would much rather use a hand tool, a hammer, if I have to hit something, because I'm more controlled with that one, and heat. I use an inductive little thermal tool.
Get one of them.
Those are so nice. Now, I don't like the smaller Viper versions of them, but the original inductive heating tool, those are so nice. Now they're pricey. They're like $400, but they're way nice for doing anything.
I'll put it to this way: I drive out U-joints with an air hammer.
I still use my U-joints. I have my what's the green hammer that I have? The brand of it flew out of my Wilton.
BFH.
Wilton. My big Wilton hammer. I use my big Wilton hammer, and then I have a spider gear pin out of a Dana axle. The diameter of that pin for the Dana axles is pretty darn close to the middle of like 90% of the U-joints that I have. And I line those up on there and just bang, bang, bang with that one, because I like the control of having that, and that air impact does not work so great. This creeper right here.
I see. Hello, my friend.
The Capitan.
What's up, YouTube?
What's happening? But
This
that
guy,
would be
he just bought, what was it, the Matco? The newest Matco air hammer? That big mamma jamma?
No, Snap-on.
Snap-on one?
Yeah. The new
And
Snap-on.
every single chance he ever gets to use it, like, oh, this one, my little 1/4-inch impact can't get out this 16 millimeter nut. Oh,
hit
really?
it.
Gotta get out there, hammer.
Brap, brap.
It worked. Funny enough,
I bought it.
I have a Matco.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
judge.
Yeah,
I mean, if they made a Snap-on air hammer, then I might use that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Powered.
No,
Battery powered.
yeah, I mean, my Matco one, I've had it for God, I don't know how long now. Love that thing. But that
He bought
you were
them
talking about what
looked
you
for
use.
reasons to use it. That's the problem.
Oh yeah,
He
he'll
looked
learn.
for it.
Wait for him to tear it up. But that actually could be a subject for a different live stream one day.
Yeah.
Tools that are made and that you use in a shop.
How they're used in the shop or how they're not used in a shop.
How you actually use them, like tools that you have made and why and how.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, especially new guys, they're always looking for a new tool to buy. And I'm going, make that crap. No.
Or just use this tool in this format.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I still don't understand
You
people
use
that
two
buy
versions at the same time? What?
I still don't understand people that buy those little silicone cup things to put nuts and bolts in.
I don't get the silicone ones. I have the magnetic shelves. So my tool, the cart that I have, the end of it just flips straight up, and then when it's against there, I put those magnetic Blue Point shelf things on there, and that's where I put those or those bolster things in the hood if I'm working on a big truck and I have a lot of room there.
I take a quart bottle and I turn it outside and cut out a hole in it and throw it in that. That free 50.
I'm telling you, the bolster organizer, the blue one that I used and put on Instagram, I got to get you one of those to try because I've absolutely loved using that one. Not just because throwing things into there, but a lot of the times when I'm doing like valve bodies on newer vehicles, when they have 37 bolts and 7 different lengths, you're like, oh yeah, I want to have them in this order, this one, this one, this one, this one, all in order. It's a lot nicer for that one.
Well, that's when I get my cardboard box out. I'll just take it and I draw out what it is and I number them. Same way like when I'm doing a head or something like that, I'm pulling up push rods and I'm shoving it in a box. I-E.
No, I did have a box that was 4 push rods before, for Hemis that had all of the push rod holes in it for each side, 8 of them on each side.
Yep. And I mean, it's what I grew up knowing. You put out you number what cylinder, you put I or E and leave enough space to put your rocker and your lifter there. And I just have it laid out pretty as can be on my toolbox. Not a problem in the world. I think a lot of new tools are answers to questions nobody asked.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what about rotational tools like grinders, polishers? Using those in
no way those can be replaced by electric. No.
Yeah. That's exactly where I am at on that one. I was so gung-ho at first when I got the 90-degree Milwaukee, the right angle grinder, the M12 one. I love that thing. But I swear, 1 month after using it, it's like somebody flipped a switch on it, and it cuts out thermal so much easier. I grabbed somebody else's because somebody else that I know bought one. About the same thing. Like at first, the amount of pressure I could put on it and the horsepower that it had was like dead on comparable to my 1/4 horse air one that I have.
Sure.
But after like a month and a half of using it, and using it, like that thing is chock full of probably a ton of RTV air shavings.
Yep. After its nut busting torque wore out.
Yeah, it's nut busting torque.
Yeah, it's like I say, I'm convinced that electric it is a luxury item, but from the numbers and everything I'm seeing here, air still beats it in every aspect. The only place it doesn't beat it, it's got an air hose attached to it. And it sounds like you were traumatized from that, so I mean, we'll forgive you.
Now, there are still some things that, yes, there are pluses and minuses, but there's some things that you just can't replace when I am taking wheels off of vehicles, especially for younger lube techs. I recommend for them, that's the one tool that I say, hey, I would probably get the electric version of like a mid-torque impact over an air one.
What?
Because, yep, because the weight of this one, everyone's like, oh, it weighs so much more. Nope, the mid-torques do not. They don't weigh any more than the air tool counterparts of them. They don't have to take the air hose around the racks, and a lot of the times the technicians, the lube techs, they're working on 4-post racks. So working with air hoses, watching them trying to snake air hoses around a 4-post rack is like watching a monkey fuck a coconut. It's
They'll
absolutely
learn.
horrendous.
Sooner or later, it'll happen.
Plus, with these newer tools, torque selection on them, where you can go, okay, I'm putting this on, I can have it set to not over torque. Yes, I know there are air tools do have that adjustable, little knob on the back too. But how many times do you see the guys using that one? Because like the Snap-on one, the back of theirs doesn't have a little handle to grab. You got to put like a little torque bit in it and kind of turn it that way.
Or just do what we always did and buy torque sticks.
Not a big fan of torque sticks.
They get you close
How
enough.
unreliable they are.
They get you very close.
Yeah, that's true.
Get close enough, finalize it with the torque wrench. Kind of like adjusting your little electric tool.
That's where I just have them set where I can set RPM and impact range on my Snap-on and Milwaukee one, where all they have to do is just push the little button there, and for their number one, use this one for putting it on. It hits them on. It will not go more than 90 foot-pounds. Can't, won't, ever. So that's why I recommend that to them. And these batteries, they last a lot longer than they used to now. They used to be, they only last like, what, 2 sets of wheels, 3 sets of wheels and be done. Now this 4 amp hour or 5 amp hour battery lasting like a week and a half in the shop use that we use it for.
And the air compressor lasts all day.
Yeah, but it costs a lot to run an air compressor too.
Oh, you pay for that? You pay for the shop power?
When I shop foreman and the extra commission that I get comes out of shop performance and having to pay for stuff, it cuts it off the top.
So they take bills out of that. Wow, that's kind of sucky.
Shitty. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. But you know as well as I do, like we spoke about the field techs earlier, you're that tiny little minute percent.
Yep, and I can concede to that one. The other thing that I just have to say about the air is the amount of use for a shop owner that it's used for, and how much waste is used in a lot of the power lost. Many of these shops, I'm sure your shop isn't, where there's no air leaks in shop, is there?
No.
Or do you guys check for them?
If we hear one, then we'll just have it fixed.
So most of the shops around the area that we work at one time, if you tell everyone stop working, don't touch anything, and just listen, you probably hear 3 or 4 slight small air leaks in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Well, every time that happens, your air compressor has to cycle every 15 minutes or so. And each time a 3-phase, like a 15-horse motor has to kick on, that costs about $3.50 to run that cycle.
I'll tell you what the old guy training me told me when I worked at Ford. Because I know we're talking about the very tiny, slight air leaks you'll hear. Just hissing away up top or something. If you can't outwork that air leak, you need to find a new job. Outwork that air leak. That air leak ain't nothing. Outwork it.
Yep.
And I mean, that air is going to keep on going anyway, because you need air for the releases on your lifts and things like that. Gotta have it.
So it's not going away. I will definitely concede to that one. Air's not going away by any means. Now it's going to cut way back, and companies are going to start putting more of their R&D into a lot of the electric tools, and you will see the electric tools jump forward leaps and bounds over the next couple of years as compared to the air tools. Like, why did it take so long for these companies like Snap-on to put out a long neck air ratchet? They just now came out.
They didn't realize it. They didn't realize the demand.
They didn't realize it. They've been selling long neck, electric ones for like 2.5 years now.
Best thing I can come up with, because I don't work for them, I can only make an assumption, is they saw the incredible market that's still for the air tools, and they saw the market for the long necks, and they decided to combine. Mm-hmm. Because that's one thing people fail to realize also. It's still very, very high demand for people to buy air tools over electric.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still a hot item.
Still for the newer techs in the industry, the ones where they're trying to buy a bunch of tools and still trying to get things to get done. Yeah, mm-hmm. Obviously, to be able to fit the bill, to be able to get your foot in the door of working at an automotive shop, you have to buy air tools to start off with. There's not much choice in that one. There's no way you can afford, as a brand new technician, to buy a 3/8 1/4 inch electric ratchet, buy a 3/8 1/2 inch electric impact. That right there is what? $1,500?
Easy.
$1,600? Yeah.
When in the meantime, you're sitting there with your Walmart special toolkit going, what am I doing?
Yep.
We can laugh because we were there.
Now, what about inflators? Now, have you gotten to use much of the electric inflators that have been out in the market recently?
As far as like digital tire inflators?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're all digital.
No, or just the battery powered.
Oh, no. No, God, no. They can't do what we do. No, hell
right.
no.
I understand that one. And a lot of the guys are like, well, yeah, that's one of those tools that you can't replace, is to fill tires up and everything with that one. But they are coming up in their stature there also. The newest 18-volt Snap-on one, I actually prefer to use that when I am on one of those 4-post racks, to where I can't get the air hose around the vehicle easily. Like, I have to pull it all the way out around this one. Okay, I have to pull it back in around the back side of the vehicle. While I'm doing any kind of service or oil change, I have this 18-volt, and I just clip it onto one wheel, walk away, because it fills it to that exact pressure that I put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 minutes later, 2.5 minutes later, come up, put it on the next one, go doing something else.
Yeah, you got to think, for what I deal with, my tire pressure averages, depending on the piece of equipment I'll work with, from 90 PSI up to 178 PSI.
Okay. Now that one is getting out of the battery range by far.
Yeah, just a little. Even still, I'm thinking with a semi-truck or even a trailer tire, it's like, that's a lot of volume. That battery's going to die quick.
Mm-hmm. In my area of maxing out at 80 PSI, I can do a whole set of dualies on one battery now, which before I wouldn't have thought I could do that one. But you definitely can. I could probably do 1.5, so that would be 9 tires on one M18 battery from pretty low to fully inflated.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's one of those. Yeah, shop air, you cannot replace that compressor with from medium duty and up. No, shop air, it's got to be there. And that's what I say. It's one of those, if your shop has to have it, why not? Save the money, and get just as much performance, if not more. So way less cost and more durable. So it's one of those, if the shop already has air and they're going to run air, why not keep on rolling with that air?
Yep. And I get that one for the shop setting, especially if you are not paying for that air.
Yep.
I mean, might as well. But at home, where I'm paying for the air, yeah, it
That's
costs a lot
different.
more. It costs a lot more to run a big air compressor in this little garage for what I use.
Absolutely. And I understand that.
Yep.
Like I say, I've got a project outside that I'm working on now. And on weekends, I bring home my battery powered tools. So, yeah, I totally understand that.
Wait, you have battery powered tools that you bring home too?
No, I bring home my Snap-ons. Funny thing is, I had this ever since it becomes Skippy. It's been in this box. I brought home my Snap-on 36 tooth the other day just so I didn't have to use that Matco.
Even though you had it sitting there.
Will not get it out. I'm that pissed off.
So you're that pissed. You won't buy one of the new Matco, the blue ratchets?
Nope.
No, won't do that.
Nope. I won't go on the truck to have this thing fixed.
Oh, jeez, is that bad, huh?
It's rough.
That is a salty time, my friend. Salty time.
But so far from this conversation, all that I've taken out of it is you're traumatized from an airline, understandable, and the overhead of the shop comes out of your pocket. So other than that, Air Tools kind of are still kicking butt and taking names.
They do, only because of the cost factor. If you don't factor in that cost, kind of like in your side of things, you don't factor in the cost of the air.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't factor in the extra cost of that tool, then I think things become a little bit more even.
Go to work Monday, call me up, and simultaneously I will fill a container with ATF. You do the same. You drop in your 14.4 3/8. I'll drop in my 3/8 air, and we'll leave them in there for a couple hours. Call each other back, pull it out, and let's see durability.
Yep. Can't do that one. Yep. I totally get that one.
So, cost aside, we're going to ignore cost.
Mm-hmm.
Durability. Air has that.
Aside from dropping it into a bucket of coolant or fluid, yes, it does.
Ease of repair. If you have the parts.
If you have the parts and if you are doing them by yourself.
By yourself.
Yep,
and we all have. Those of us been in the industry long enough, we've replaced more than one vein.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to ignore cost and jump straight into, usually they have higher performance, higher RPMs, higher foot-pounds torque.
No, not usually. That is not even like half. That is barely.
Oh.
For all of the impacts. Those are, I'd have to say that those take the cake.
Pick your highest performing battery ones. Email it to me, and I'll come up with a comparable.
I know there is a comparable, but that's what I'm saying. They are comparable. Like they have a comparable nature to them on each one of them.
I will find one that well exceeds. How about that?
Yeah.
Well exceed RPM and foot-pound. I'm looking at numbers here for the most bought, and I'm going by the numbers. Air's got it.
Kevin Avery says he'll do it with his 14.4.
Do it, Kevin.
Make that video. Make that video. Send it, and I'll post it.
Make the video. Post it. I'll do the same thing, but with air. Please do it.
That's awesome. I would love to see that one. I
Oh
really
yeah.
I
If I hadn't sent in my 14 Ford yet, I would have done it. Absolutely would have done it. Yeah, like I say, I'm a numbers guy,
there's
and going
and
by the numbers of the most purchased tools here, Air's got them.
in a lot of those things, I have to concede that it does. It really
Yep.
does. But like I said, when you throw in those factors of everything that a lot of those one-off mechanics or guys who are over the road kind of things, that usability and that we're able to take it out anywhere, do just about the same of what an air tool does
Yep.
anywhere, that puts the value of that tool way over an air tool.
But it's like we talked about in the very beginning of the stream. I knew somebody would talk about it, and that is
Yep.
the minute. That is the tiny, tiny little percent of the market. Besides that, if you actually look at service trucks,
half-inch impacts, that's the
Mhm.
majority of the market.
Yep.
Because very few guys only use a half-inch impact just in the shop.
All right, let's talk about service trucks because I have worked out of a service truck before.
Mm.
You know what the majority of them have on them? A compressor. There for a reason.
Yeah, to air up the tires.
Air up the tires, jack it up, use a 3/4 inch impact on the side of the highway, or doing a water pump on the side of the road. I've done that a few times. It sucks.
That does sound like it sucks.
It
Unless
does.
it's Cummins, then that's easy anywhere.
Yeah, well, it depends. Are you talking about the Cummins B model, or are we talking about
the ones I work on?
Okay.
Cummins trucks.
I did like N14s on the side of the road.
Okay, yeah, no, those suck.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, like say, when I first started my career, I was the punk. Go do whatever. You're a stupid kid. Why aren't you in school? Go on the road.
I would actually like to be and see, the over-the-road mechanic. That was one of the things I pitched to my dealership to be able to do, to offer that as a standard service there as one mechanic that would go out and do a lot of over-the-road things. And if not just like a lot of repairs, but what dealerships do in their minute things that takes a lot of the time during the day, reprograms.
Oh, yeah.
Probably 80% of the time that you go to the dealership these days, that stuff needs, taken care of. Oh, it was a flash program. We got it. No problem.
That is a program that I spoke with to my company about, and they're implementing it here or there. Large areas that have a lot of different shops, stuff like that get behind here or there, you're starting to have what's called a floater mechanic. And basically, it's a roaming mechanic. They call up, hey, you're needed at location X on this day to do an X job, or this and that and the other. And you're constantly roaming around. It's your tool truck, or your truck is your toolbox. And to be honest, I would love to do that.
To not sit in the same spot in the shop all day in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I love what I do, but to ride around, stuff like that, that's why I go to so many different shops and I go out of state to work so much. It's good to know that you're that guy that they call to solve the big problems, but to be able to get paid to travel and go to these new places and work somewhere totally outside your comfort zone. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the one thing though on the company's side of things, the cost of that is pretty high. Like you have to be working all the time straight to be able to make that kind of a gig cost effective though too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You have to do that. But as far as like dealership side,
that's what you're working for, right? You're not working to sit on your ass.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the dealership side of things, I've spoken with a few dealerships about it. Wait for you to get an abandoned vehicle. As well as I do. So At least minimum once a year. Somebody says it's not worth my time, not worth my effort, and just leaves it there. 9 times out of 10, you or another mechanic will pick it up for the repair cost, and that's that. Wait for a vehicle to get abandoned. Get a POS van, put $1,000 into it, shove somebody a tool cart in the back of it, off you go. Have fun. It costs fuel. That's it.
And insurance.
Yeah, but still, realistically, how much insurance going to be on that 1998 Chrysler POS van?
I mean, that is true, unless you're considering that it is a mobile business, so it's business insurance too. But yeah,
grand scheme of things, it's next to nothing.
Yep, that's true. Junk from work finally stopping in. What's up, man?
He's on that Canadian time. He's a little slow.
It's not B time, it's the A time. So, in the overall scheme of things in this debate, you came well prepared. And in the largest percentage of everything across the market, I have to concede in that air is definitely still superior over the electric things. There's a lot of asterisks in this whole conversation.
Whole lot.
But in the largest percentage of the grand scheme of things, air still does outperform in cost, in a lot of the times performance, in durability. It's just one of those things where, like you put it, these things are the fancy stuff that if you can afford it, it makes your life a lot better and a lot easier, but it's not necessary.
Look, all I'm going to say is do a dab, get your Gucci gang on, no shame in it.
Yep. Or feel old school and run all air tools for a whole week.
I will. And I'm telling you, it's to the point I'm just going to put away all my battery stuff. That's it. I'm selling all my battery crap, busting out the old air.
I don't have a 1/2-inch air impact anymore.
What?
Yeah. No longer own one.
That blows me away.
Yep. Don't own one. Just because I have like 7 of these.
I can't wrap my mind around that.
I have so many battery-powered impacts, 1/2-inch drive ones, that I have 2 in each place that I work on and in vehicles. So I
want to see if I can make it do things that my air won't do.
You know what? I will send you that one that I found on the side of the road. How's that?
All right.
It's not a 1/2-inch drive retainer. It's a 7/16. So you have to get that adapter for it. But I'll send you that one to get your taste into the electric market.
And then I will show you how wrong you are. I'll send you one of my 3/4-inch air ratchets. My air guns. Not air ratchet, air gun.
Okay. I'm like, a 3/4 air ratchet?
Fuck!
That is one of the air tools that is one of my favorite air tools that I would have to say. I just thought about this. I do own a 1/2-inch impact in air. It's a stubby one, that stubby SP one that I have.
Oh, okay.
700 foot-pounds of output, and it's only 3 3/4 inches wide.
Is that output or nut busting?
No, that is output.
Nice.
It's 970 Newton meters. Sorry, Newton meters of output on that. Yeah.
That would be kind of slick. And I've actually been looking into some of the stubbies, and I'm like, I have thought about buying one.
It's awesome. Yeah, that air stubby, I keep it.
That's realistically, that's part of my problem on why I'm not trying some of this new stuff. With my job, willing to replace or pay to have rebuilt any of my tools that are broken, it's hard for me to go and buy some of this new whiz-bang gadgematic thing. It's broken. Okay, send it in. It's now better. It costs me nothing. Well, if that's the case, why am I wanting to buy more stuff?
because that's the nature of the beast right now. That's the right now mentality. That's your shiny tool truck syndrome is what we call that one.
To be
We're
honest with you, my
okay,
Mac
you're going
guy
to trade this one in. How many times, or you go to send this one in for a repair? How many times does the Snap-on guy says, it'll probably be 3 to 4 weeks, but if you just want to trade it in, I'll hand you this new one right now. No problem.
Thankfully, our Snap-on guy, he is a corporate guy and for aviation. He's on the clock. It doesn't matter if you buy something or nothing. He doesn't give a crap.
Well, that is totally different than mine.
Oh, yeah, that's way different. I don't think Snap-on has ever talked to me about trading anything in other than when I discuss toolboxes.
Really?
No trade-in tools. Don't care. Don't want to hassle with it. You want a new one or no? I don't care. But now my Mac guy is different. But I haven't seen my Mac dealer since COVID come around, so that's good for my wallet.
We don't even have one, so yeah.
Yeah, he's been going away from the airport because airport's kind of a slow market right now.
Yeah, I could see that one.
Everybody, please fly somewhere. I don't care where.
We need to get some more air traffic into things.
Badly. Terribly bad.
I will be next month. I am actually going to get the chance to actually go to SP Tools. Never been there. And I'll be down south for once, going the correct direction, not north.
How long are you going to be there?
Probably 3 or 4 days in July.
You know that is not 2 hours from my house.
Yep. You might have to make a trip down there.
I might have to crash a party.
Foley, Alabama. That's where it's at.
I actually know the area.
Really? Well, then you might have to come down and check things out because I've never been there. I've never checked things out. I'm super excited to be able to see all the stuff that they have there. They've been putting a big garage together.
What if they would welcome a salty little prick like me to come in and
who wouldn't accept a salty little garden gnome to come in and, hang around?
Funny thing is, I'd love to take insult from it, but I'm going, yeah?
Yeah.
I'd wear the hat.
Yeah, exactly. No, we might have to make that one work, but I am definitely going down that way. Yep. Hathead's from down there. Funny thing is, he ended up winning one of the nights we did a giveaway.
Okay.
And he's like 20 minutes down the road from them too. So he actually got to
show up and knock on the door. Hey, I won.
Yeah, they gave him a tour, the whole 9 yards. I'm like,
nice.
I haven't even got to see that.
Well, I want a tour now.
Yeah, exactly. I want a tour. So we're going to be doing a tour. We'll do some live streams. We're going to be doing some new product stuff that they've got coming out that they're not telling me about until I actually get there. So that'll be kind of cool to see and everything. So that'll be.
When are we going to get to see these new boxes show up?
From what I heard, they were ordered the end of this week.
Are we going to have a Rustbelt box?
Probably.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What about tool carts?
Negative. Not yet.
Ew.
Not yet. You got to go in steps with that one. But from what I heard, then that's what everybody's excited about seeing these things. They were ordered the end of this week. More than likely, you're going to see a 4-week turnaround on making. And then because of the electronics and how you have to ship them and customs and everything, probably 4 weeks to ship. So my guess is August, beginning of August, right around there. But thanks to what everybody did when we did the live streams and had everybody fill out everything, we went with what everybody voted for the top colors of everything. So I'm thinking that we're going to do the Rustbelt version and the flat black with chrome blue trim.
All I'm going to say is if the guys from SP are watching, my birthday so happens to be in August.
Oh yeah,
Just saying,
that's funny.
but
So
yeah.
that's funny enough. When I'm going down to their place, I'm going down on my birthday, which is July 18th.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be a good one.
Might have to show up just randomly with a case of beer.
Hey,
I'm here
for that.
Yeah.
And then not this coming weekend, in 2 weekends, for the diesel truck guys. If you're watching on here, there is a massive diesel truck meet that Whistling Diesel is deciding to put on in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. So Whistling Diesel, he's got like 1 million subscribers, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Decided to do a post COVID impromptu truck meet with 2 or 3 weeks notice, and they're probably going to have 2,000 trucks show up
Nice.
to BFE, Indiana.
That's fine.
It'd be all right. I think it'll be great.
But other than that, you have any projects coming up? Any cool new toys?
I am debating on things because I've got some cash sitting around, because when I bought the Project Caddy, I'm like, all right, we're going to do this one. We're going to do everything super cheap, and then we're going to flip it and sell it. Well, even after I did all of the super cheap crap, this Caddy ended up turning out to be like a really nice car. So I sold the Mini Cooper. So for everybody who hated the Mini Cooper, gone. Out.
Nice.
Yep, got rid of the Mini. So I'm debating, and I might do a poll on that, on some of the things that I want to do with that one. Either purchase another cheap flip car, something that is well known to everybody, one of the all well-rounded cars that people are seeing, doing like, I don't know, a Hemi 300, something in that price range, because with what we sold this for, that's about what we can afford on that one. To do that project for another flip car and then flip up and see where we go, or to do I want to do a highest horsepower for lowest cost build. Like, specifically look for a car that has great bones and setup to be able to get the highest horsepower possible for, say, X amount of cost. Or how high
it's got to be an LS series motor.
It almost has to be, but
yeah,
depending on what kind of price range or what kind of parameters that we put on it, like it has to be earlier than 1999 or something like that.
Yeah,
we'll see. We could do that one.
Yeah,
or I want to be doing some more upgrades to the Duramax, custom axle build, bumpers.
Dude, those get expensive fast.
Yeah, the ones I really want from Bodyguard bumpers, the A2L bumpers, $1,800 for the front bumper.
Yeah, my project vehicle, the more I'm pricing it out, I'm going, oh my God. I'm trying to debate if I really want to dive headlong into this. You will appreciate what I'm thinking about doing to the Tahoe.
I'm super looking forward to that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really looking forward to that one.
It's gonna be a 2500. A 2500 Tahoe.
Yeah.
As in
now, or you're gonna make it that?
I will make it that. They didn't make 2500 Tahoes.
No. They made 2500 Avalanches. So speaking of, I saw a really odd one today. Came into the audio shop that's local here. I stopped by and talked to them. They had a 2000, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 Avalanche 2500 with an 8.1 liter in it.
I've seen that. Yep.
I'm like, that is a cool freaking build in an Avalanche. 8.1.
I've seen those. If I do the Tahoe, and I'm trying to weigh out how much I want to do it, just a little teaser for anybody out there that cares to listen. If I decide to go through with this project, I found that by changing a few wires around, couple resetting parameters on a laptop, I can replace the 5.3 with a 6.0 and pull out the 4L60E and replace it with a 4L80E. So do that. 2-inch lift, stiffer rear springs.
4-inch lift.
Okay, 2 more. It's a daily.
I daily a 7.5-inch lift truck.
I
It's
drive to Atlanta.
Yeah. Up doesn't make it go wider.
Now, what year is your Silverado?
06.
Okay. One of the things I'm fighting right now is trying to figure out how to put in the double din stereo that I'm looking for, because I have the early 2000s where it's a din and a half.
Right. They have adapters for them.
It's
audio
replacing
shops-
a whole front dash bezel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most audio shops actually have adapter things in stock for those GM model trucks.
Yep. But it's not this. It only comes in black. It won't match the same color as your dash.
Yeah,
So
you have
now
to
I'm
paint.
looking at paint matching, and
They have, so that's the thing with I've got an Edge CTS tuner, and I
Mhm.
wanted that to fit in seamless with my dash. I ended up getting the dash mount for that, which only comes in black. Well, there's a company that makes the GM specific dash colors.
yes, I found them. Mm-hmm.
So for $9 match.
Yep. This will tell you guys how close I am to actually doing this. I'm pricing this crap out, and so you understand how deep I am on this one.
Stuff. Yep, I know. I've done this.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm trying to weigh out cost right now. It's if I do this, I'm going to sell the Toyota car and get my wife something. She wants something with a third row. Or just fix up the Tahoe, put a third row in it, and I sell the Toyota, and I buy a pickup like a Chevy Colorado. I think the Tahoe's cooler.
Way cooler. Colorado takes your dude points down to below ball level. Just saying.
Yeah. I like to say everybody wants to 4-wheel drive trucks, stuff like that. And I'm going, Tahoe's what I use for hunting. It's what I use for camping. It's pretty awesome.
It's so nice having that utility vehicle that can do everything. That's why I love having my truck. And that was one of the things that earlier on I debated so much was I tossed up and down the idea of I really wanted to lower a truck, like slam lower a truck. Those were cool as fuck, but not practical. And then lots of people like, oh, put a 12-inch McGoy's lift on it. I'm like, then the bed of the truck is like right here on me, and I'm 6'4". Like that's just not manageable at all.
I'm gonna feel like a midget next to you.
You probably look like one too.
Most likely. That's okay.
But that 7-inch lift for me is plenty manageable as long as I have one of those Trek steps down from the bed. Everything's manageable with it, and it's useful. I can have that thing to be able to go anywhere and everywhere. I put tires on it that are E-rated, load range E on those, so I can tow whatever I want with it too. The compound turbo setup that I have and the trans build can haul whatever I put behind it and not have any issues.
Oh, exactly. And that's kind of why with the Tahoe, I'm going, get rid of the 4L60E that we all know it's going to pop with any kind of power adder, and put in a slightly built 6.0. I think that would be a pretty slick daily.
I think it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of project ideas, though, that I would love to do. Like, I want to do a slam truck still. I really do. I just think they look cool and everything. I want to do those.
All my friends did those back in the day. They ride like horse-drawn carriages, and
Well, yes and no. You can make them as long as you buy the right kit. Same with this lift kits. Lift kits, you buy cheap $800 lift kit or a $4,000 lift kit. The $4,000 lift kit rides pretty freaking nice.
Yeah, but still, when you're slamming that loaded ground,
there's not a whole lot of
suspension.
Extra room to go wrong.
And everybody runs rubber band low profiles on those too.
I can't do that in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. They all do it.
Not cool and anything. I just can't do that one. On a
Buddy
lower,
mine had a Ford Ranger that which just dragged the rear bumper. I'm going, I hate every bit of this. No.
uh-huh.
I can see you getting like an IROC Camaro.
So, not an IROC, because I built one, an IROC. So before I started my YouTube channel, I think I've told this story like once or twice before, but I did a charity build. A guy that I know in the Air Force for 17 years. He was on his 9th tour in Iraq, and he had a 1987 IROC Camaro. And he left on his 9th tour, and I said, you know what? This is a hard one for him. His son was turning some special age and having other issues. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to go steal his IROC. We brought it back to Ohio because he lived in Indiana at the time. And we actually built his IROC Camaro. I went around to all the shops locally, and everybody chipped in parts, money, time. They came over to the shop and helped me. And we put like 12 grand into this 87 IROC Camaro.
Nice.
Totally repainted, built 305, new trans, new rear end, tires, wheels redone. He got that thing. It's the most mint 87 Camaro I've ever seen. But like, this thing's insured for like 8 grand, and I'm like, well, we might have put like 11 in it.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. Y'all did that.
And that's actually on my channel, which is if you scroll all the way back to my very first video that's posted, which I wasn't even the Rustbelt mechanic channel, we dynoed that car at the local college, and you can see that 87 IROC on there. So for the nostalgia for guys, if you want to see that one, it's on there.
Nice.
But the one I really, really want to do, kind of nostalgic for me, is I want to do a 96 Impala SS.
LT1.
Yep, LT1, big boat car. 96 was the year that they moved the shifter from the column with like the compresses to the actual floor shifter. LT1, big boat, gorgeously comfortable seats.
I like the boats, man. A lot of people don't like boats. I love boats. I always wanted a Mercury Marauder.
Yeah, now those were pretty cool. An old car auto guy, I'm pretty sure he'd get in that boat with you too on that one.
I mean, it looked like a Grand Marquis, but it had the naturally aspirated Mustang Cobra motor in it. How freaking cool is that?
Exactly. But having one of those Impala SS's, black, they already look like they're lowered.
Oh, yeah.
We're just stock suspension height. The wheels looked awesome. The LT ones, it's just like an LS motor. You know, there's a million upgrades that you can do to them for super cheap.
Oh, yeah. And see, that's my problem. That's why I'm debating on if I want to fix up this Tahoe or not. Because I'm going, all right, it started out, I'm going to reseal the 5.3. All right, I'm going to get a 5.3 and then I'm going to rebuild it just so it'll be fresh when I put in it. Okay, I'm going to soup up a 5.3. Okay, I'm going to put a 6.0 in it. I caught my mind wandering.
Turbo 6.0.
I caught my mind wandering the other night, and I'm going, you know, if I get a 6.0, it's going to be bored 30 over. If it's going to do that, I might as well build it for a power adder. Well, you can pick up turbos fairly inexpensively. So,
oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm justifying this in my head. You know how we do it. I'm going, well, a 480E can take that. Next thing you know, in my head, I've got a 2 to 4 inch lifted Tahoe with 600 horse, and I'm going, wait a minute, dude.
Oh, trust me. When you come down there, I'm not sure if I'm flying or driving yet, but if you get a chance to get behind the wheel of my Duramax, dude, there's nothing like it. Having a lifted vehicle that still has, this one's got 750 plus horse, 1,400 foot-pounds of torque. It's one beast of a ride. Like, it's hard to say how awesome it is of a ride.
Well,
it scares the crap out of you because there is no brakes on the face of this planet that can slow down an 8,000-pound beast like that going that fast, that quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking about it. Depends on schedule and everything like that. But if you are going to fly, you're up for it. See if it's cheaper if you land in Atlanta. If that's the case and you want a small road trip, land here. I'll pick you up, run you over.
All right.
If it save you a little bit, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that one. I think it'll be a good one.
That'd be a pretty interesting road trip live stream.
Yeah, it would.
Oh God. But
Nice.
yeah, pick you up in the beater Tahoe.
You gotta have to do something to it before then.
I've already fixed the windows in it and stuff like that. Because it had 2 window regulators that were just dead.
And you didn't do videos on it.
I didn't.
No.
It's a window regulator.
It's content.
There's a no. And I replaced with because did I tell you about the shocks that was on this thing that I discovered?
No.
It was one of those. I don't drive it. My wife does. I think nothing of it. I drove it one day. I'm going, this don't feel right. And I knew the shocks were gone, basically. I got home and I stuck my head up under them, looking, going, God, are they just pouring out, leaking? What happened? The driver's or the front right side, the whole top end where it goes up through the shock tower, snapped off. It collapsed and was laying on the rubber brake line. I'm like, well, we almost died.
It's not connected to anything either.
No, it's just hanging there, laying on the brake line. I'm like, well, we almost died. Awesome. So
that
I bought
should have been an Instagram post. Just saying.
It was one of those. Let's just get the cheapest Amazon shocks we can get here for it for now, just to get by, because this ain't staying. It was running on torsion bar alone. Because I knew something was up. The first bump I hit, and I'm going, oh my God, it's just floating.
Going for a ride.
It was bad.
That's awesome. I've got one video coming up that I'm going to be doing probably tomorrow or this week. When we went down to vacation to the Outer Banks, 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Coming back through the mountains, getting through the mountains, the EGTs, they get pretty high and everything. Well, about 3 hours out from home, going through the mountains of West Virginia, all of a sudden, that smells like Freon. About 5 miles later, this AC is not cold anymore. Like 90 degrees out. And I'm like, let's see that one. And then I get over to a rest stop, look at the fender liner, the passenger side fender liner, green. The wheel, the bottom side of my mirror, green. Come to find out, the high side pressure line that goes from the condenser to the firewall runs right along the frame rail, right beside the output flange of the secondary, the compound turbo that I have on there. Well, when we put together, we didn't pay attention much for heat on that one. So yes, it's still set that far away from that turbo flange, but that turbo gets up to 1300 degrees.
Yep.
Enough to melt an aluminum AC line.
Awesome. So
I get to replace this big long steel AC line, and we're going to talk about heat dispersion and routing when you're doing custom work.
Yeah, that's a definite thing. Turbos don't like things around them.
No, their heat blankets. Their blankets are pretty nice. So I have a blanket that's around the exhaust housing of it, but then once it's on the clamp and the flange that comes down, that AC line sits right next to that clamp. And I'm like,
oh, so it's right there at the V-band.
Right at it.
Nice.
Yep. So I've got a bunch of stuff to do. Header wrap on that and the downpipe coming down from that one. And then some insulation wrap from DPI that I can put over the AC lines, and also notice that the positive cable on the second battery on the passenger side is pretty close to that too. And got a little hot also.
That would be no good.
Nope, no bueno. So we're going to see about fixing that one and taking care of all of the rerouting stuff and heat lines and talking about the importance of looking at that stuff when you do custom
Yeah.
work like this that I didn't pay enough attention to. 'Cause I didn't think. I'm like, well, it's that far away. It's got to be good enough, right?
Sure, why not?
Yep. This stuff gets awful hot.
It does. It gets ridiculous. That's why I say I'm just kind of like, I gotta say what I'm gonna do with this Tahoe. It's either gonna be one super cool off-roader or it's gonna have a third row put in it and wife's ride still.
Just Duramax swap it. There you go.
No, I'm not attracted to other males, so I prefer not.
I see how it is. I see. He's gonna go there.
If I were gonna do something, I'd do a Cummins swap.
That'd be pretty fucking pimping too.
6.7.
Mm-hmm. I would love to do the next truck build I do. Definitely won't be a Chevy. It'll be a Dodge. And
Yeah.
I really want to do like an 07 right year. The first thing they switched over to 6.7.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do one of those.
The thing that really stops me from going overboard is we have emissions here. They check everything.
Checks?
What's that?
You guys have each smog checks in your county?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's most of Georgia.
Really?
Yeah, they plug into your OBD to make sure you have no pending DTCs, anything like that. And that's the majority of it. They don't actually probe the tailpipes anymore or anything like that. Once OBD2 come out, they plug into it, make sure the computer's not throwing a red flag. They test your gas cap, make sure it's not, creating massive evap. And that's it. But still, I'm going, yeah, if I could just pull that 5.3 out and stab a diesel in there, maybe.
Then you still having to run EGR and
don't have
to. There's no fun then.
Yeah, well, see, if I was going to go that far, I'm the kind of guy I go overboard. If I'm going to take the time to stab a Cummins in there, then why am I going to go with something I could just go buy a 2500 Dodge? Why don't I go and find like a Detroit 60 series and just stick like a semi-truck motor in it, as well as the 10-speed?
I guess if you're looking at like that much fab work.
I mean, if you're already that deep, what's a little deeper?
I would love to do projects like that if I had a garage that was bigger than this one, that all I can fit in is this side-by-side, and that's it.
Hence why I'm going to stick with the 6.0 and the 4L ADE. I have my driveway. I don't have a garage. I don't have a shed. I don't have none of that. A 6.0 bolts right up. The 4L ADE, I got to modify a cross member, have my drive shaft shortened, and run 2 signal wires for the ECM, which the connector is already pinned. Mm-hmm. That's it. Just reflash my ECM after that. It's it.
There you go. Yeah, and those guys that are able to reflash those are a dime a dozen. It's not like trying to find a diesel tuner right now.
Yeah. Well, I can actually have the programming sent to my house. Mm-hmm. And you can go online and basically take stock programming for like a 2500 with a 6.0 and a 4L ADE and transfer it over. Even if I keep a 5.3 and just put a 4L ADE in it, I transfer the file for the TCM over to that, and that's that. It doesn't care.
There you go. That sounds pretty awesome. Sounds pretty, at least efficient. Like you said, since you don't have a garage either, you can't have, that much down for that long.
Yeah.
I totally get that one.
But worst case scenario, I will end up going to a boneyard, finding a 4L60E and another 5.3, have them both, send them both to the machine shop or to the train shop, build it with beefier internals, and then 5.3, I just bump it up a little.
You should just build the trans right there at the camera.
No,
No,
nope,
not gonna YouTube it.
Nope. Me and auto trans, no go. No. I suddenly can't see.
I did that transfer case on that caddy, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of freaking out at first because most of the time you pull transfer cases out these days, there's clutches and there's a ply this and solenoid that. I'm like, this is gonna be fun. And then I took it apart. I'm like, wow, there's no electrical connectors, no clutches, nothing. This thing is just gears, planetary, input, output, done. All right, I like this one.
Well, I mean, I pretty well, in my Tahoe, I'm going to have either the exact same or close to the same transfer case you have in your Silverado. It's one of those.
On that one.
What's that?
I can get you the hookup on that one.
We might do something then, because realistically, the biggest problem with those transfer cases is once the chain starts getting slop in it, it wears a hole in the case itself.
The rear pump does. It moves back and forth and has that pump rub.
Oh, that's what it is. That's right. Mm-hmm. But I'm just kind of like, man, that ain't really a big deal.
Kodiak Truck. Go look up that website, Kodiak Truck, out of North Prairie.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who I went and did some videos, and he put that hardcore 3-roller built transfer case for this one. Thing's awesome.
Yeah. One thing I've got to end up doing, I have to rebuild the front differential, and I've yet to ever be in one of these front diffs on it from a GM.
I haven't either. And
looking different. Yeah,
that was IFS too, isn't it?
Yep. It looks different. It doesn't look bad. It's just different. Because I actually love differentials. I'll jump in them all day long. Transmission, no, not a chance in hell. But a diff, same principle, different concept, you know. So that one I will do a video on, rebuilding on the back deck.
There you go. Sweet. That I haven't done that one, but I'm actually going to be going with Truckmaster back up to Kodiak Truck, and we're going to be doing the rear diff on these. They have a gov lock. Stupidest design. They have horrible failure rates on them, and that's the weak point in my driveline that I have right now. So we're going to be getting rid of those, going to an American axle setup, kind of like out of a Dodge, doing a 38 spline axle build for the rear on that one.
Nice.
So beef that one up, and then he does this fancy auto front locker for the IFS on the front of it. Some secret squirrel stuff that he does for it. So I'm excited to see this one.
Yeah, I'll roughly what kind of timeline? You know, when you might go?
Also next month.
Okay. So my front differential definitely won't be built by then. So I have to see what he's got going on, because, you know, I'm just going to rip it apart. Then, you know, depending on what I decide to do with it, you know, I'm an old school guy, go figure, but I'd put like an Eaton locker in it or something like that.
Yeah. We're going to go to 410 gears because there's 373s that are now. So I want a little taller gear. Yeah. I want a little bit taller gear to be able to hold tow haul in 5th gear.
Yeah. See, I have 410s also.
Yeah.
410s in mine, but I also have a 4-speed auto.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it's the Allison 6-speed, so when you're in tow haul, it won't let it go into overdrive, so it keeps it in 5th. So going through some of the mountains there, it bogged down a little bit too much. So if I went to a 410, it wouldn't have to downshift into 4th very often at all. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward on that one. He's trying to get me to go 456s, and I'm like,
no, not for daily.
We need some more drivability than that one on the daily side.
410 is the upper limit. Once you start going 456, you're killing any highway you have.
Oh, yeah. I put 456s in a Wrangler a couple weeks back. The one that I did a bunch of pictures on Instagram for. Yeah, that made that thing totally not interstate drivable.
No.
At all. No.
It's like, woo, 45 done.
That was about it. We're like, all right, rock crawling, going down 75. Okay.
Cool.
But yeah, that'll be pretty exciting. I'm excited to do that one because, like I said, on my Duramax, the weak point is the drive line. But
Yep.
it's going to be some pretty hopped up stuff because I want to be able to do 4-wheel drive boosted launches in this one because after we build the axles on this one, it's pretty much a bulletproof driveline, and I want to use the truck, so I think I want to take it to some dirt drags.
That would be pretty slick. See, mine, it's mostly going to be used for what I initially bought it for, and off-road camping, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a little bit more power, a little bit more lift because I'm getting more and more into hog hunting because here in Georgia, especially mid-Georgia and south, it's becoming a hog problem like Texas. It's bad.
That might be one of those trips that I would need to come see in person also.
We can do that. Matter of fact, if I picked you up from Atlanta and took you down there, we'd pass by one of the places that I go to.
Right.
There are several people in the chat. Army guys, cover your ears. I'm going to take you by Fort Benning in wonderful Columbus, Georgia. I just made every Army guy throw up slightly. But yeah, that's primarily where I would go was Fort Benning, or when I lived in Savannah, I'd go up to Stewart and stuff like that. Because people don't know, a lot of your military bases, you can go on there and hunt. So get out there, do a little bit of hog slaying.
That would be pretty freaking awesome. Not gonna lie.
Throw a 300 blackout in your hand with supers in it, some barns, 110 grand.
Now we're talking about some cool stuff.
I can do that. Oh no, if you want cool, we can divert Alabama and I just head further south, and I could take you to some people that we'll just head south in Georgia. No, staying in Georgia. People that what can I say? People that work for companies that do things that you have heard of. And one of them has a 1919 converted over to 300 blackout with a can on it. Yes, it is a belt-fed 300 blackout with a can.
Please say it's mounted to something too that moves.
Well, it's usually on a tripod, but if you want that, we can go to a different place where he has you would like this. He's got, what was the early 2000s Durango? Usually come in that stupid blue.
Yeah.
They did something as a party favor. They got one of those out of junkyard. I got it running. What is the little V8 it had in it?
It had a 5.2 and a 5.9.
Yeah, 5.2 is what it had in it.
Yep.
Took the doors, but we took the doors off of it, took off the rear hatch, busted out the sunroof, reinforced the top, and he has a mount up there for a 240 Bravo. So riding around in the Durango with a belt fed on the top. And you can just rain. Hey, I mean, the whole thing rocks whenever you rip out a burst, but driver correct.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I've got way too many friends that do too much stupid crap.
Hey, we all need to have those friends sometimes. Venting.
They got more money than me, and they're doing something in an industry, so who am I to call it stupid?
Can't help it. All right, man. Well, I think we're going to cut it short. We just passed 2 hours on this one. I appreciate you stopping in for the chat tonight. The debate that we did have earlier that I still am conceding to for that. So as far as we diverted in the last 45 minutes, that was still a good one. So
I appreciate it.
In, bud.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.
All righty. If you guys haven't checked out, make sure you look into Everyday Fleet Tech's channel. He is here on YouTube's as well as Instagram. He put some pretty sweet stuff on there too. Go and check that one out. All right, guys. You guys take it easy. We will catch you in the next one. You guys stay awesome.
See ya.